Greetings and welcome to the NBA Files. Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of the NBA Files. As always, I'm your host Kwame Fisher-Jones, joined by co-host of the BS Line and associate editor of Liberty Ballers, Roy Burton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Roy, we were talking about the NBA Finals before and we were excited about it.
Yeah, we were.
Then they happened, and now it's just it's like the inevitable. What were your impressions going into the finals after seeing Game 1? What are you thinking? And as far as an NBA fan, how do you feel?
I hate to read too much into one game of a series, but when you see a game like that, when that happens, when you have the Cleveland team that had plenty of time to prepare for the Warriors team, the Cleveland team that has something to prove after last year, to come out like that against that Warriors team who didn't have a hot Curry, didn't have anything from Klay Thompson,
hot Curry,
and you got rolled. You got absolutely rolled.
It was but let's take a step back before we go, because we've gotten an opportunity now to see the game, so we're jumping ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Before we got there, one of the things that impressed me, LeBron James, 6 straight trips.
6 straight, yes.
Try to say that. 6 straight trips to the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say? What does it say for his legacy to accomplish that feat without winning or losing, just to accomplish that feat?
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic feat. I mean, you got to give him full credit for what he's done. No one's done it in 50 years. I mean, again, it's an amazing.
I think was it Bill Russell?
The Bill Russell Celtics team. I think a bunch of those guys did it. It's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, again, you would like for him to win or have won more than 2.
We're not going to go there yet, though.
But, okay,
we're just going to stay on the fact that he got there.
It's a fantastic achievement. Okay, it should be. It's one of the greatest achievements in NBA history.
And it's impressive. Now, the question I have, though, piggybacking on that, his legacy if he wins, his legacy if he loses, because people seem to be dug in the stand with LeBron.
Right.
They either hate him or they love him. There's no in between. There's no he's okay. And the ones that don't like him, it's never basketball. I call it the Kobe rule. It's I hate Kobe Bryant. Why? Because he's cocky. He's it's nothing basketball related. People that hate LeBron, they tend to have basketball reasons for why they don't like him. Why is he so polarizing, though? 6 straight NBA Finals should give you some sort of clemency. Should make you be loved.
I think a lot of people
are
polarizing these days, or anyway, the way that people perceive people is polarizing, because everything's either classic or trash. Like Steph Curry's either the greatest thing ever or he's an overrated, an overrated point guard.
When really he's just Steve Nash and Mark Price.
Draymond Green's the worst human being on the planet Earth, or he's an irritant who in the same vein.
He's just the black Bill Laimbeer.
Exactly. So everybody's always on polar opposites or on one side or the other. There's gray areas with this. There's gray areas with LeBron. There's gray areas with Steph Curry.
It's frustrating because you stand up tall and say LeBron's one of the greatest, 6 straight times, and then he comes out and he gets waxed. I mean, it's one thing to lose to Tim Duncan Spurs.
Correct.
You can handle that.
Right.
Dirk Nowitzki, man. You lost to Dirk Nowitzki.
And he was the 3rd best player in that series.
And
the 3rd best player in that series.
Now you're losing to, and you're going to lose to a Golden State Warriors team. Like, the Warriors are good.
Right, the Warriors are a very good team.
They're not. They ain't, back-to-back 73 win insurmountable good.
Right.
They're a good team. They're a cute little ball club. But it's like every team, and we said this in the production meeting, every team has their weakness.
Right.
Magic squad was the Houston Rockets. They had struggled. Jordan was the Boston Celtics. And LeBron's, it just seems to be Golden State, and it's terrible because we'll talk about Golden State winning 73 games. But you look at 6 straight NBA Finals, we'll probably never see it again. And this is it.
We'll probably never see it again.
This is it.
Yep.
He's not going to another one. This is it.
You don't think the East is weak enough that can lead this
I don't. I think Boston's going to make some changes, and they may be. I'm not saying Boston. I'm not saying Boston's headed to the NBA Finals.
Okay.
I'm saying they'll make some changes, and a team will beat Cleveland to make a new Eastern Conference.
So there's some team in the Eastern Conference that's going to be better than next year's iteration of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Well, you need to open your eyes.
Unless Durant moves. Or something. I don't see
Durant.
Durant. You need a talent infusion in the Eastern Conference. Where's that talent going to come from?
It ain't Kevin Durant.
Well, Toronto's
how much more talent can you give Kevin? I know. How much more talent can you give him for him to get to the NBA Finals? Like, what else does he? What is he lacking? He's got top 5 player, top defensive player, great angle. Like, what else does he need that he doesn't have in OKC?
He needs to get away from Golden State and San Antonio.
Yeah, you know what? No, but it's always going to be something or some reason. I just. and we're going to get to the finals more, but I look at LeBron and I look at the legacy he leaves behind, and it's infuriating that even as history goes on, we're not going to appreciate it because we're going to, he's 2-4, he'll be 2-5.
Yes.
And he'll be a bad 2-5. Like some people, it's like
2-5.
Yeah,
man.
like
you could, like you said before, you can excuse the first one. That second one against Dallas, when you're the third best player on the court, is embarrassing. You won your 2, and then you had another one where you got too hot. It was the air conditioner broke, and you were sweating, and you lost your energy. You can't.
It hurts.
It really does, man.
Because you look at who other guys have beaten, and like I often go because Jordan was our last true generational superstar, and you know he didn't beat anybody. He beat Reggie Miller.
Right.
But you look at LeBron, it's like, dude, you're beating the Washington Wizards. You know what I mean? Hibachi, it doesn't bode well.
Right.
But now he's resting on 2-5. His legacy is definitely going to be damaged, as well it should be.
It should be. It should be.
You should be held accountable.
2-5 is way different than 3-4. I mean, it's a lot of difference.
It's Jerry West. It's Jerry Westish.
Yeah, it's Jerry Westish. It's Wilt Chamberlain like.
Well, no, because Wilt ran into some things here. LeBron got cramps. He lost to a European player.
True.
Like an international player. Like, pardon Dirk Nowitzki. Outside of that, what are you talking about? Darko Milicic? Like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
So that, and, you know, Avery Johnson, not Avery Johnson, Rick Carlisle's a great head coach, but, you know, that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
So I'm frustrated with LeBron as a fan. I'm frustrated as an NBA fan. I'm frustrated. And I look at a legacy that's going to be tarnished. But on the flip side, as a team across the court, and the Golden State Warriors, 73 wins on their way to an NBA title. But I want to stop at just making the NBA Finals.
Okay.
Does that the 73 wins? Are you more impressed now that they made it to the NBA Finals? Let's not just say we know they're going to win, but let's just are you impressed more at the 73 wins and a trip to the NBA Finals?
Am I impressed more?
Yeah, are you impressed more? But
it doesn't really matter to me.
So if they win 73 games and don't make it to the NBA Finals,
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You got to win. This is not about winning regular season titles. This is
you give it to Jordan all the time.
This isn't hockey where you give out a President's Trophy.
But hold on now. Title. We give it to Jordan all the time. What record does Michael Jordan have that makes him the greatest ever?
Oh, no,
I'll wait.
I never said Jordan was the greatest ever.
Okay, so he lost it. That's what I'm saying. So it has to mean something.
It doesn't mean anything to me. Regular season titles mean anything. What did 18-0 mean for the Patriots? Nothing. No one cares about that.
It meant they got away with cheating. That's what it meant.
It meant that they ran up into somebody in the Super Bowl and became 18-1. I mean, that means nothing to me.
See, I'm sitting on the exact opposite. I'm impressed by 73.
It's impressive, but it doesn't mean anything if they lose.
It means that if they don't make it to the NBA Finals, it's still, to me, one of the greatest NBA achievements. I still look at it as a great NBA achievement. And now they made it to the NBA Finals on the heels of winning 73 games. I think that puts them. I don't think they're one of the NBA's greatest teams in history. But it's hard not to consider them that with that record.
You got to think about it.
And
they're in the conversation.
When I watch their offense, I just see the Detroit Pistons offense of the '80s. And it's interesting because you watch Draymond Green play the role of Bill Laimbeer.
Right.
You watch Steph Curry play the role of Isaiah Thomas, obviously with a little new flash, but that's basically what they do.
Right.
And then I watch a guy in Klay Thompson. It's like, well, where did this dude come from? But when I look at 73 wins, it stands out. It's strong. It's emphatic. And I don't think that we'll ever see that again because I don't think the NBA will be that watered down again.
I agree.
And they did it in a conference that I think we all would agree is a pretty damn good conference.
And more importantly, they did it in a year after they won the title. The year everybody's gunning for the Warriors. Like everybody knows that when the Warriors, when the Warriors were on the schedule, you circle that date on the calendar months out. So everybody's gunning for you, and you still ripped off 73 wins. It's real. It's very impressive. But if they lose the title, then what was it worth?
You got to break it down though. Like you got to break it down. It's regular season and playoffs. Okay. Anything could happen in the playoffs.
Okay.
But the consistency that you show in the NBA Finals is in the NBA regular season that needs to be applauded. That's why you have two separate MVPs. That's why Steve Nash has an MVP for regular season MVP when he shouldn't. Fact of the matter is, but he had an unbelievable regular season, and you have to give credit to that. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the game, but I want to get into Klay Thompson.
Yes.
Klay Thompson, I said last week that I thought there were moments where he was better than Steph. Once again, I was proven right. NBA Files. Welcome back to the NBA Files. Kwame Fisher-Jones, Roy Burton, Klay Thompson.
Yes, sir.
I want to jump right into it. You know, I love being right, and I love being proven right because people like to remind you when you're wrong. So it's usually silence most of my life because I'm never wrong. But I said Klay Thompson at times was better than Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are watching a player now become special.
Okay.
And I don't know how he's special. Like if I'm game planning for, I'll pose this question.
Yes.
What do you think of Klay Thompson? Do you believe he's becoming special?
I believe he's becoming special. I believe he's the best player on the Warriors right now in the playoffs. He's played better than anybody on that team in the playoffs.
Wow.
This year.
Better than Iguodala.
He's better than Iguodala. In the playoffs? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Better than Livingston.
He carried that team when Curry was out.
Apparently, Sean Livingston is the next coming after game one.
Exactly. No, he carried that team when Curry was out. I mean, the guy, the guy is just he became special the night he dropped 37 in that one quarter. I mean, that's when Klay Thompson had his coming out party.
It's kind of like you got to differentiate between hot and special. Like, and why I say he's special is this: Game 7, they're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? He shoots 7 for 19. So on the surface, 7 for 19, that's not good.
Right.
But he shoots 6 for 11 from 3.
Right.
That's his thing.
That's his thing.
His pace it's something I haven't seen in a long time, and I can't put my finger on it. But he's never rushed. He's never in a hurry. He does work on that baseline, and I'm just wondering, like, when I know he was good, but this good?
He's a fantastic player. Well, he's always been a great shooter. Again, the thing about Klay Thompson, he's a top 15 all-time shooter right now. Going to be the second best shooter on the Warriors by the time his career's over.
So you're making him the top 15 shooter.
He's a top 15 shooter.
So he's better than Dale Ellis.
He's a top 15 shooter all time right now.
He's better than Dale Curry.
He's 42% for his career. That's 12th all time.
He's played for an hour.
I know, he's played for an hour, and he's one of the best shooters of all time. I know you don't. I know you're not a big
better than Mark
guy.
Price.
I know you're not better. Not,
well,
not
I'm not.
That's a different era. It's a different game.
That matters though. All time is all eras.
No, but Mark Price didn't shoot threes like Klay Thompson shoots threes.
No, but he was. You didn't say 3-point shooter. You said shooter.
3-point shooter.
Oh well, you can have that. Okay. 3-point shot's been around for
3-point shooter.
30 years.
30 years.
You can have that. Okay. That means nothing to me. Mark Jackson could shoot threes. There's nothing to me. All right, but seriously though, all jokes aside, the Warriors are playing unbelievable.
Yes.
And I want to say this, but I haven't seen every second of every Warriors game.
Okay.
But the games I see, they come and go as Klay Thompson.
Absolutely. Well, he's not to cut you off. Klay Thompson is a two-way player. Is a better two-way player than Steph Curry. You saw what he did to Damian Lillard. I mean, Lillard had a couple games where he scored a lot of points. He had to work for those points in that Portland series. He guards the best guard or best perimeter player on the other team.
And he defends. He doesn't get steals. He defends the way you're coached to defend. Denies ball, moves his feet, keeps his hand up, big hand. I mean, he does all the things that makes a coach's nipples tingle. You know, and you watch guys like Steph Curry get steals, and people say, "Oh, well, he's a great defender because he gets steals." No, steals is that stat that you don't want to see if you're teaching defense, because that means you're putting everybody else on track.
Yep.
So, when you watch Steph Curry, now if you're Golden State, you've got a decision to make. Because you've got to decide if you're going to max this guy.
Max Klay Thompson? He already got paid.
Yeah, you know, I shouldn't say, I don't mean maxing. You got to make a decision if you want to make this guy, you want to maximize this guy as far as the face of your franchise, as far as sit down Steph.
I hear you.
Okay.
But you can't do that. You can't. Steph is the franchise. He's the face. He's the guy you roll out there, and then when Steph's deal is up, he's the guy you throw that $25 million or whatever he's eligible for, a year.
There's a reason why Steph Curry didn't get maxed. He didn't get maximum money because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, that was the thing, because he couldn't stay healthy before.
Has Klay Thompson missed any games? I don't know. I'm just saying. I look at Klay Thompson.
I hear you.
I look at back-to-back NBA titles. I look at a guy that plays both ends of the court. And I see Billboard, I see John B, I see a guy that you can market. And Steph Curry, I see a guy that dribbles a lot, great clutch shooter, entertaining to watch, but probably doesn't win back-to-back titles without Klay Thompson.
I don't disagree.
You know, it's vice versa. You could wear that on the other side, but I don't know. I see something brewing there, and it's the same thing I kind of saw with OKC. Now, if you're the Warriors and you go forward, you like I said, you got to maximize this guy. You've got to build a team around him, You've got to market him. Are you prepared to do that if you're Golden State?
I think you have to be. I don't think you have a choice. But I think it's a tandem thing, man. I think it's a tandem. You ask Klay Thompson. Klay knows Steph carries the water.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
He says it.
I was about to say he says it, but he don't believe it.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming back on the other side, we're going to talk more Klay Thompson, a little bit more Klay Thompson. We're also going to talk some Jahlil Okafor, some Sixer trades, Derrick Rose. I'm hearing everybody in the NBA could be coming to Philly. And also, should I give a damn about Kevin Durant? Like, should I really care? NBA 5. Welcome back to the NBA Files. Kwame Fisher-Jones, Roy Burton. The Roy Burton, who predicted Golden State would. You predicted Golden State would win the title, right? I erroneously went with Cleveland. Before we switch gears and get into the Sixers, I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
What can Cleveland do to win the finals? Exactly.
Besides prayer?
Okay, so we can just move right on. How can Golden State lose this thing?
Well, you have to play your game. You can't get sucked into Cleveland's game, because that's what happened with the Thunder. The Thunder played their game, went up 3-1, went away from playing the bigs.
Westbrook happened.
Well, Westbrook always happens. I mean, that happens again. But you get away from playing your bigs, Steven Adams and Enes Kanter, riding a train that got you there, trying to play a different game. You get caught up in that other game, and then you lose. So I think just Golden State they won 73 games. They won what? They were 86-15 so far this year. 86-15. You're doing something right. You only lost back-to-back games once this entire season in the playoffs.
And they're good. If you're an NBA free agent, and we're kind of all over the place, and I'm going to try to tie them, but if you're an NBA free agent, if you're a guy that's looking for teams, I'm not talking about Kevin Durant, but I'm like a guy like I was going to
bring his name up.
DeMar DeRozan or Jeff Teague, who's not really a free agent but is available. You've got to be looking at the Warriors like, they good, but they're beatable.
Yeah.
They're not insurmountable.
Yeah.
And if Jeff Teague winds up in San Antonio like we're hearing, you got Teague, Leonard, Aldridge, I think you beat Golden State.
I think you can. I agree.
But I don't think that happens if San Antonio takes them. But I think what Cleveland needs to do, the first thing, they got to move the ball.
Yes.
They have to make goals. And it's easy to say, come out, move the ball, but you have to run an offense, which I said before is virtually impossible with the combo guards in the NBA. Because the combo guards' mentality is to attack. And even not so much hold on to the ball, but even when you're attacking, you're not getting other people involved.
Right.
They have to move the ball. And Cleveland has to focus on beating Golden State up. Being physical. And not cheap shots, not, back turn, monkey elbow, but, if a guy's coming off a screen, you throw an elbow.
Right.
You know what I mean? You make sure you make contact on every rebound. They have to beat Golden State up because shooters' legs are delicate. And if you take away their legs, they will not make shots. But, it's easy to say.
But you saw, the Thunder did that a little bit in the last series. They ran Curry through screens. They had him beat up a couple times. He had those games where he was off, game 6, when he was off, and Klay Thompson had to carry him.
Klay Thompson brought him back.
But the thing is, you're going to run Steph Curry through screens. You're going to need J.R. Smith to start running all over the place. And the thing is, J.R. likes to stay, above the break on the 3, or behind the 3-point line, and not move. You know
what else they need to do? And I'm going to sound, I know it's blasphemous to say. You need to let Steph Curry do his thing. You need to defend Klay Thompson. You need to build your defense, because you can't defend a guy who comes across half court and shoots.
No, you can't.
And that's what Steph Curry does. Right. Steph Curry, for all his bluster, for all his dribbling, and he's a phenomenal player. I love Steph Curry. Let me emphasize, I love Steph Curry. But he's not going to get his own shot. He's not going to blow by a guy. So you don't have to really, worry that much about him, because the things he's going to do whether you're defending him or not. You got to gear your defense to stop Klay Thompson. And it's like I said, it's easy to say, move the ball on offense, be physical on defense. Control contains Klay Thompson. You've got a chance to win, but they're not going to do that. No. They're going to come out. Kevin Love's going to take 20 shots. Peanut Brittle's going to take 20 shots and eventually get hurt, because that's what he does. And then LeBron's gonna, we're gonna get the crying meme and the LeBron memes, but the series is pretty much over.
What do you do if you're Cleveland? What do you do with Klay Thompson? Who do you put on Klay Thompson?
You don't have a guy, because Klay, to defend a guy like Klay Thompson, you need a Dennis Rodman mentality. You need a guy that takes it upon himself to say, I'm not gonna let you score.
Right.
Cleveland doesn't have that. What they can do is spread their defense out, and what I mean by that is Klay Thompson does most of his work from the baseline, and I would say from the wing in. He doesn't do much at the top of the key, so you spread your defense out, possibly a zone, but you spread it out in the sense that you force him to come into you. So you cover the corners, cover the baseline, force him to come in. Golden State really doesn't have a conventional point guard, so they're going to eventually fall victim to taking quick shots, but I don't know if Cleveland's tough enough to do that. But you don't have a guy to say, yo, handle that. Like that, you don't have that guy anymore. Iguodala. They don't, even Iguodala isn't a handle that guy. He's a good defender, but he gets it handed to him too. You need a Dennis Rodman, a Joe Dumars,
Tony Allen,
a nasty defender with whose goal is to just eat you up. All right, so we're gonna take this quick break. I'm back. We're gonna jump to Sixers. All Sixers. Tony Parker's gonna be a Sixer. Derrick Rose is gonna be a Sixer. The NBA Files.
Welcome back to the NBA Files. Roy Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones. Let's talk a little Sixers. Most importantly, let's talk about the different trade options, because over the last few days, pretty much everybody on the other 29 NBA teams has been linked to the Philadelphia 76ers. The guy going out in a lot of these trades, Nerlens Noel. Now, I know you're not the biggest Nerlens Noel fan, but have any of these rumors piqued your interest a little bit?
Okay, first of all, let me say this. I love Nerlens Noel. I don't like the fact that I'm a big accountability guy, and Nerlens has had enough practice where he should have developed a 12-foot jump shot at this juncture of his career. Tired of seeing him thinking he's Curly O'Neal with the ball. Now, it does feel like everybody with man parts has been linked to the Sixers. The one trade that I thought was interesting was the Jeff Teague trade.
Okay.
For Nerlens, but if I'm Atlanta, why am I making that deal? Realistically, why am I making that deal? Because you could get a Tony Parker and a #1 pick for Jeff Teague. Why would you take Nerlens Noel if you're Atlanta? What does he do for you? Even if you lose Al Horford.
I'm about to say it's probably for big man insurance. I mean, because they're also rumored to get Robert Covington and one of your other favorites, Nick Stauskas, in the deal.
Nobody wants Nick Stauskas. Nick Stauskas is like the Mike Jaminski of the two. Nobody wants Nick Stauskas. Unless Sam Hinkie's in their front office. Nobody. The book is out. The book was out during draft. That's why everybody said, what is Sacramento doing? But I like that trade. I don't believe Tony Parker. I don't see why any team would want just Nerlens. I don't get that. I get Okafor. I get Okafor.
If you want I won't say classic. If you want a defensive-minded center, you get Nerlens Noel.
Can he defend big men on the? Can he defend most big men on the ball?
When he at center.
You think he could hold point?
I think he's a solid defender.
Okay.
I think he's a solid defender as a center.
I think you're lying to me right now. I think you're trying to tell me.
I'm not lying to you.
I don't think you believe you. So you all right? So you honestly believe? I mean, let's flip it. Okafor is on the offensive side, and you got Nerlens Noel defending. Do you think Noel could handle him? Do you think he can handle the Al Jefferson's door? And those are B-line centers.
Yeah, I think he could.
See, I don't see that, and I think he's a better space defender. I think he can defend three positions, but I think his best is that your power and your stretch fours. I think that's where he's at his best. I love the Derrick Rose trade because
you love it.
I love it.
The Sixers?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Chicago ain't taking those over. Like, they're not sniffing that stuff. But I'm saying if I'm the Sixers, and I'm not a big Derrick Rose fan, but I'll take Derrick Rose for Nerlens Noel. But they're not going to make that trade. So I don't see any of these happening. But you had to answer your question specifically. I liked the Nerlens for Teague, Nerlens for Rose, but I can't see it happening. Then the other trade that I thought was interesting was Tony Parker for Okafor. If you're San Antonio, why do you make that move?
It doesn't make sense from San Antonio's perspective. It doesn't make sense from either perspective.
It makes sense for the Sixers because the Sixers want a point guard and they get a name. Yeah,
if you just
want a warm body.
But he's 34 now, Tony Parker.
Yeah, but he can
34?
teach the young guys, and sounds like they're going to go after Dunn as well or try to get a young point guard. I don't understand what anyone outside of perhaps Boston would want with Okafor. And it's not to say that Jahlil's a bad player. Let me clarify that statement. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think you have a guy who's still learning his way in the NBA. You turn around and trade for him. Now you've got to reteach everything. In Boston, that's fine because you don't have any paint presence.
Right.
But you're going to San Antonio. He's got to not only learn how to play, he's got to learn how to not be the alpha dog in the yard.
Right.
You know, you go to, there was another one, Okafor to San Antonio, Okafor to Dallas, and I heard Okafor. Like those all have proven not just good players, Hall of Fame, MVP quality dudes.
Right.
You're bringing a guy that you know, he's still trying to learn his way in the league. I wonder, I'm trying to separate fact from fiction. And I'm wondering if Colangelo is making these calls or if he's accepting these calls.
I think he's making calls. I
think that's what it is?
I think he's making the calls. I think you have to make the calls just to see what's out there. I mean, I think you owe it to yourself just to see. Think you make those calls. Just to see what's out there.
I don't think you make those calls.
I think you do.
We disagree on that.
Okay.
And, you know, we're going to take a quick break. And because I completely disagree with it, I think if you're Colangelo, you've got to find out what you have. You can't be a seller. You have to find out. You can't be a buyer or a seller, quite frankly. You have to stick with what you have. When we come back from the other side, we're going to dump more into that because I completely disagree with you.
Okay.
NBA Files. Associate editor of Liberty Ballers, Roy Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones. I want to jump right back into you. Going into the break, you made a comment about Colangelo making phone calls. I don't think he can do that. Because I think Jahlil right now is fragile. I think he's chopstick fragile. And if you lose him right now, you're getting the next Al Jefferson.
Okay.
And you have to find a way to let him know, Jahlil, you're our guy. We love you. Send him some geisha girls, like whatever you need to do, geisha, whatever. Get him happy to be a Sixer.
Okay.
Happy about life, smile and dance. Get him to get Joel Embiid's personality, but minus Joel Embiid's lack of production.
Okay.
You know, you have to, because I don't think you want to lose this young man that fast. New Orleans, you know, look, God bless him. I love him. If he's here, he's here. If he's not, he's not. But you have something in Okafor. That type of talent, that type of winning doesn't come through those doors that often. If, you know, do you think Colangelo should be making phone calls?
I think you owe it to yourself to see how much value these guys have around the league. Just make the phone call. Just see what people are willing to offer you. It's like,
give me an example of something you love in your life that you walk around and say, "What would you give me for this?"
But you're Jerry Colangelo, you're Brian Colangelo, you're in a new situation. You're not Sam Hinkie calling these guys every day, you know, trying to figure out what you guys are willing to work with you and say, all right,
but you got to find a donkey to hitch your wagon to, because you got to move this wagon from one town to the other, and I just don't think you make or take it. You just say no right now.
So you don't make a call, you don't take a call
unless you're going to get the third pick in the draft. And next year's unprotected number one, I don't think you take anything else. Because that will give you 4 players. So if you lose a talented player and you send him somewhere, he turns out to be the next, you still have 4, you still have an opportunity to hit on the next 3. You don't make a trade for an established NBA player.
So you keep all these big men,
yes,
and play them 19 minutes a night. I mean, what do you do? You have a math
gladiator
problem.
style, man.
You have a math problem.
And you know, you're right.
If you bring Jahlil Okafor back, and for whatever reason he doesn't start, you don't think you lose him then?
No, you got to start him and wait till the world finds out their search is not a stretch 4. Wait till that news breaks, and you know they stop with that madness. Look, you're right. You're 100% right. But I want the strongest dog in the yard. And you're not going to find them if you're getting rid of other dogs.
Okay.
You know, I want the guy that's going to fight. Because where the Sixers are right now, look, being a good team is here. Winning games is here.
Right.
Being an NBA level team is here. Sixers are here. So they've got it. You know, they need to get here just to be acceptable. You're not going to get there with nice guys.
Right.
You got to get there with somebody that, you know, is going to irk a lot of people, and I don't know if you know who that is yet. And what do you do if you trade? What happens if you trade Okafor and you bring him in for let's go Derrick Rose?
Okay.
Let's say they make that trade for Derrick Rose. Or let's jump the gun. Let's say it's Tony Parker and Danny Green. Now what? What do you do? What do you got? You got a bunch of nothing. You got a bunch of nothing.
With Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Danny Green.
Okay.
That's a bunch of nothing?
It's a bunch of nothing because Joel Embiid has been in the NBA, and I use this phrase all the time. I'm going to continue to use it. He's been in the phrase he's played basketball for an hour. He's been hurt 55 minutes of that hour. You cannot depend on him.
Okay.
All right. You throw Ben Simmons in there. Ben Simmons, if you agree with me here, it's going to take him time before he develops and before he decides what type of player he is.
Agreed.
All right. Now you've got Ben Simmons on one end trying to make his way up the mountain. You got Tony Parker going down the mountain. He's almost down. It doesn't match. It doesn't work. And Danny Green is a fringe player when he's with good NBA players, borderline great NBA players. He ain't nothing when you add him with Stauskas and Isaiah Cannon and Robert Covington. I'm getting choked up just saying those names. And Rostar Center from the old NBA Live days. So no, I don't think you do it. I don't think you do. I don't think you take any phone calls unless it's like something that knocks you off your feet.
Well, then you're going to lose one of these guys in the process. Like, just mentally lose these guys. Let's say you start Okafor. Let's say you start Ben Simmons. You don't start. You have Nerlens Noel coming off the bench. I mean, Embiid's going to be off the bench because he's just coming back from injury. That's
Embiid's
fine.
not going to come off the bench.
He's at the start of the year.
Embiid is a competitive dude.
Well, then you start Embiid and Simmons. Then you lose Okafor and Noel.
Possibly.
You have Okafor check out. You have Nerlens Noel. He's on the last year of his deal. He's going to walk. And then what?
I don't know much about Joel Embiid. All right, and I know I got to go to break. But my editor's going to have to find a way to make this fit this in. I don't know much about Joel Embiid, but there's going to be a lot of broken noses in practice if he's coming off the bench. Mark it down.
Okay.
NBA Files. Welcome back to the NBA Files. Kwame Fisher-Jones, Roy Burton. Going into break, I lean forward to share this with. And I'm going to point to you and say this. There will be a lot of broken noses if Joel Embiid is forced to. He is not a guy that's going to come off he's a nice dude.
Game one, he's got to start, is what you're saying. Game one.
I think if he's not starting in preseason, he's going to get violent.
Okay.
I think I think Joel Embiid's a talent, and I think he's got a lot of potential. But when the great Pete Newell, and for those who don't know Pete Newell, Google him. But he said backs and feet are deaf to big men. And all big men are judged through health. The healthier the big man, the better he is. Right. So if Joel can stay healthy, that's a big if, and you have something special. But one of the things that makes him special is he is nasty. He is not a nice dude on the court. He is not going to let put it this way, Joel Embiid is not going to let Brett Brown take him out of the game in the closing minutes. So you're going to tell me that, I'm trying to find a nasty player. I'm trying to find a guy that wants to climb out of this dark hole. And you think the one guy that could possibly do that, you're going to sit him on the bench and bring him along slowly? Dude, he's had 2 years to be slow.
They're not going to jump. They're not going to put him in the fire like that. They're not. I mean,
he needs to burn. He needs to burn.
They don't want to play him in summer league. Like, they have been so extra cautious with this guy.
That's such a loser's mentality.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying this is what's going to happen.
And you're right. But it's, you're probably right. No, you are 100% right. But that's such a loser's mentality. Like, play, ball. I don't care about, and we're watching. And, we're Sixer fans, but we're NBA fans first and foremost. Right. And we're watching guys sit, because they're tired or, fatigue or sore this. Ball. I don't want to see Joel Embiid in the summer league. I don't give a rat's if he gets hurt. Because if he's going to get hurt in game 1, he's going to get hurt in game 21.
Right.
Ball. That dude is not coming off the bench. Mark it down, right?
I wish you were the coach. I wish you.
No, you don't.
I wish.
No, you don't. Because I'm a guy that subscribes to you're here to play basketball. I don't want to hear you got tenderness in your knees and you need a break. But no, and that's why I said the Sixers need an attitude. But to tie it all back in, yeah, you have to keep everybody, even if they all play the same position, even if they play because they're here now. And you can't go back and say, I need to get rid of this guy or I need to figure out this. They're here now. So the question for you is this. When that guy comes about, do you trade or do you try to find a way to fit in the weeping willow, if you will, the guy that's willing to back down from the fight?
I'm telling you, these guys, some of these guys have value, and you got to move them for the pieces that you have holes on this team. You don't have a shooter. You don't have a point guard, but you have a bunch of talented big men.
What value does Joel Embiid have right now?
Joel Embiid, not much.
Okay, what value does Serge have right now?
I think he has decent value.
Give me a player. Give me a player value, like a guy you think you can bring back for him.
You could probably get like a six-man type of guy. I don't have a name.
Okay,
offhand, but
no, that's fine.
Type of guy.
Is that worth it to you?
For Sarge, no.
That's my point. Now,
right.
I'm going to go down the line here. What type of value does Okafor have?
See, I think Okafor has the most value right now.
Okay, I get
out of
that.
all the bigs.
But what can he bring you back? Maybe not a name, but the type of player like fringe all-star, perennial all-star.
I think he can get you a high to mid lottery pick.
So is that worth it to you?
I think it is.
Because you're giving away the third pick.
I think it is.
See, I don't.
I think it is.
I'd rather.
For this team, for this particular team, the way it's presently constructed. In a vacuum, would I trade Jahlil Okafor for the 5th pick in the draft? No. But you need a point guard. You need a guy who can shoot. You need wing players who can do something with the basketball.
You need a lot of things.
You need a lot, and you have a lot on the other side of the ledger. So you gotta balance it out.
See, and that's where we differ, because you need a lot, but you know what you need most? You need that strong building block. And you've got 4 guys. And Ben Simmons, I want to make sure I name the 4 because I don't want Serge to be considered in that group. Ben Simmons, Noel, Okafor, and Embiid.
Yes.
You've got to see what they offer. And you got to see it in the gladiator pit. You got to make blood or die. Blood in, blood out.
Ben's got to start. Coach Jones has Embiid starting. Okafor.
Embiid hasn't been started.
Okay. Okafor, you think you want him to feel like he's a Sixer? You want him to feel like, Mr. Liberty Bell? You gonna bring him off the bench? That's gonna work? That's gonna work? How long? Okay.
We'll come back. I'm gonna answer that question. NBA Files.
Welcome back to the NBA Files. Roy Burton, Kwame Fisher-Jones. And yes, I'm advocating trading Jahlil Okafor, Mr. 17-7, Mr. 51% from the field, Mr. 20-year-old big man, classic big man who could be a 20-10 guy.
NCAA champion. High school champion. Boxing champion on the streets of Boston. Because we got a math problem in the front court. I'm telling you right now, we have a math problem, and the only way to solve it is to subtract the big man, and he's the guy with the most value. Okay. I agree that you need to subtract the big man, but I think you wait to see who lasts out.
Okay.
What was the movie with Brad Pitt? Fight Club.
Fight Club.
That's what you got to have in practice. No, I'm so sincere right now. Because I am telling you, as sure as the sun will shine and you will do a number 2 today, Joel Embiid is not going to back down. He has no back down in him.
I hear you, but you can't. If you want Jahlil Okafor to feel like he's part of the team and not go out on the streets of Philadelphia and start beating people up again, he's going to have to start.
I never said I didn't want him to go out beating people up.
Oh, okay.
Those words never came. I had no problem with him acting a fool in Boston.
Well, I'm here too.
And here too, I told you before, I've spent on the Ben Franklin going into Jersey because I know going into Jersey there's usually no cops. Going into Philly.
Allegedly.
Nah, he did that. So I have no problem with that. I have no problem with it because he's 20 years old. What I do have a problem is the fact that he allowed himself to be chumped in certain situations. And I'm not calling Jahlil Okafor a chump. I have the world of respect for Jahlil Okafor, and I think he's a special player. But special to win NBA titles. Allen Iverson was special.
Right.
Kobe Bryant is special. So, I want to see a guy fight. Because right now, the Sixers are fighting for their lives. Every year, it feels like every month we're talking about Sixers moving to Bangladesh or being, like different places. The only way to keep them in the city is to have a quality product. Not a champion, it's a quality product. And, reeling it back in, I don't care if he gets into fights. I don't care if he's nasty on the streets. He's a professional athlete. He's not a well-adjusted citizen. So, what I want, though, is him to fight.
Okay.
And that starts on let me just say this on Joel Embiid. This thing I'm hearing about, Ben Simmons and Serge and all this stuff. This team is held hostage by Joel Embiid.
Absolutely.
So, you can't build around him. You can't not build around. You got to see what you have. So why not have that same mentality with everybody else?
Again, I hear you. If everybody's fighting, if you want that dog to come out of everybody, there's going to be a couple upset guys when they're not starting. There's going to be a couple. If Jahlil Okafor plays 18 minutes a night, he's going to be upset.
I want that.
Okay.
I want that.
Okay.
You don't want that?
Then what do you do? What do you do?
If he's upset,
you can't trade him at that point.
Well, you can trade him.
He's not good enough to start for you. and you're winning 20 games a year.
You can trade him at any point. You know,
You're going to get less value for Jahlil Okafor.
You're not going to get much.
You realize that.
Well, I get that, but let's be realistic here. And short of getting that third pick, which we both agree would be a great turnaround, are you that gung-ho about Dunn, the point guard, for Jahlil Okafor?
I like it. I'm not gung-ho about it.
Exactly.
No, I like it. I like it. It's nice.
I take provolone cheese, man. You got it on some American.
I prefer American.
Exactly. So it's like, it's pretty much the point I'm trying to make. I take you here and bring you here. It's nobody that you like that you're like, I gotta have.
I agree.
So if you lose out on them, okay. There'll be another one. It's like a woman. She'll be back. She'll be back. She'll let me in the morning.
You're not going to get the third or fourth pick for Jahlil Okafor next year, or even later this year if you give him 18 minutes a game.
I'm fine with that. Well, I'm fine with that. But you know what you'll get? You'll get the confidence of knowing that I exhausted my option with what I had.
Okay.
Because if you bail early, and then see, that's the thing, when you're building the way the Sixers built, they got nothing. Hinkie came in, he pointed to a land, the Sixers gave him a blank slate.
Right.
And he had all these fancy blueprints. 4 years later, they still got nothing on that land. So you got to find out what you got. And if you get rid of the wrong guy, even if they got to draft Ben Simmons. We both agree. You draft Ben Simmons, he turns out to be what we think he is. And you trade the wrong dude. You're in trouble. Trouble with 2 B's and 2 L's. I don't think you do it that way. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take a minute to pause and dry ourselves off. Then we're gonna jump into what I have affectionately decided to coin as the Ben Simmons watch.
Oh boy.
Word on the street is Ben Simmons made a jump shot. Made room on the trophy case. 76er Files. Welcome back to the NBA Files, and what I have affectionately called the Ben Simmons watch. Aren't you excited about this?
Oh, boy.
Now, I have read through my sources, my unnamed sources.
Yes.
AKA the guy that knows Ben Simmons' barber who knows his other barber's friend. Ben Simmons has made 4 jump shots in a row. How excited are you to hear about that?
any work Ben Simmons puts on his jumper is, you know what, I will say thumbs up to it. I'm proud of you, Ben.
Dude. He played 30 games in college basketball. He's just not working on his jump shot.
I will watch every single YouTube clip of him kicking the ball up in the air like a soccer player
with no shirt on
and making a 3-pointer. If he doesn't want to wear a shirt, Sixers just dump the jerseys. No jerseys. Shirts for skins. Let's go. Let's
who works out with his shirt on? Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield gets that work in with his shirt on. There's a lot to be said about a dude that works out with no shirt on. Nobody wants to, come on, man, put your shirt on. Just put your shirt on.
It restricts his motion.
I bet it does.
He's trying to get the
he
jumpers
don't play
up.
Without a shirt on.
He's trying to get those jumpers up,
I laugh and we jest. It's good to see Ben Simmons working on it. And he'll be a good player.
He'll be fine.
Nobody says he's not. Do we think he's going to be franchise player? It's yet to be determined. But I just think it's funny that the news is Ben Simmons is working on his jump shot.
This is a silly season. We have a month until between now and the draft. Every single bit of, I'll call it news, but it's not really news. Every scrap of video or every tweet or every Facebook post.
You came in and told me you wanted to talk about, I don't know, the Buddy Hield is dunking. I would say no.
Right.
You're fine. There's always room for no. I am not talking. I'm talking about Ben Simmons making a jump shot to make fun of the people who are actually seriously talking about it, bringing it down. No, there's always room for no. We're creative enough to come up with other topics to fight in that. But I will say this. For Sixer fans, it's an exciting time.
Absolutely.
It's an exciting time to see a guy that you're going to draft that is the most talented. I make no bones about who I want to pick, but you can't go away from that at number 1. You got to take that. So it's exciting to see how it turns out. I'm also excited to see him putting in work in the dog days of summer, because that's, I don't say that's where he's going to get better, because it's not, but it shows that he's willing to try.
I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that he hasn't agreed to a private workout so far. I would like to see him work out for the individual
It's
teams.
the international way.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. I mean, even Porzingis came over for workouts. I mean, guys work out for the teams.
And, but it's the international. I believe Nowitzki did workouts, so I got to check that. But I know who didn't, Dante Exum. He didn't want to work out with Marcus Smart.
Right.
Saw how that worked out, didn't we? You got to have competitive fire. And that's the question about Simmons. Is he competitive enough?
Right.
And I don't believe in calling people soft, especially a young man. What's he at 19, 20?
19, yeah.
Golly, coming from Australia,
Right.
being 6'11", where all he hears all his life is calm down, you don't get angry at him. So, but yeah, it's alarming. You want to see Nasty, but Nasty doesn't build overseas. All right, so that's it for the NBA Files. Make sure you check us out every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on Channel 22 in Cumberland and Atlantic counties. We'll also be in some other venues soon. For Roy Burton, for Kwame Fisher-Jones, we appreciate your time and your ear.